Right away, two things. First, it's de Bethune and not de Bethune.
De Bethune. De Bethune.
De Bethune.
De Bethune, c'est...
De Bethune est une forme.
De Bethune.
And second, wow. This is the Bethune DB25 GMT Starry Varius, and it costs about $120,000. That's the bad news. But the good news is that at this level of rarity, prices can be a little squishy. I'll bet you can get this price down to as low as $119,000 with some clever negotiation. This is my first time ever wearing a watch from Bethune, and this is thanks to Robert Miller, the Oracle on Instagram. He let me borrow this. If you're into fancy boy watches, go check out his profile. I've known about Bethune for a while. If you're deep into watches and watchmaking, you've got to know about Bethune and its founder, Denis Flageolet. He co-founded the brand in 2002 after earning a reputation as a seriously talented watchmaker. One pre-Bethune work that you might be familiar with is the Cartier Tour 2 Mono Pusher that Denis worked on with two other big names, Vianney Halter and Francois-Paul Journe. But that was ages ago in the late 90s. Some of you weren't even born yet, which is deeply upsetting to me. Now, if you watch a rich person's sport like tennis, you may have seen Bethune watches on athletes lately. This is a relatively new thing for the brand. Even though I wouldn't call any of Bethune's watches sports watches, it seems like the brand wants to show everyone how tough these movements are. Now, I don't play or watch tennis, but I would gladly wear this watch playing my top sport, which is find the remote. It takes short bursts of upper body strength, strategy, and agility. There's a lot going on with this watch, even though I find the time telling pretty legible and simple. It's kind of an impressive watch that can be visually interesting and technically advanced and still have a mostly intuitive display of its complications. You can probably already tell what's mostly happening with this watch. What you probably can't tell though is that nearly all of it is made out of titanium, and I'm not just talking about the case, but the dial, the hands, even parts of the movement. Titanium is kind of Bethune's thing right now, and we'll get more into that. The case is 42 millimeters in diameter. The case itself is 11.8 millimeters thick, but really the entire thing is 13.3 millimeters thick when you include the sapphire crystal. It's 49.6 millimeters long and has 22 millimeter lugs. I can't find any information on water resistance for this watch, which can only mean one thing, that it is impervious to water at any depth. Or, okay, maybe that actually means that you should treat this watch like airport security. Keep gels and liquids away. The movement in the watch is the manually wound caliber DB2507. It's the brand's 29th in-house movement, which is only 29 more than I've ever made. It has a 5-day power reserve, that's 120 hours, it has a date, and a pretty cool GMT complication that I'll show you. But first, how does this wear on my finely crafted, artisanal small batch 7-inch wrist? It wears pretty damn good. A titanium case on a leather strap, even at 42 millimeters, it wears light and comfortable. One thing Bethune is very good at is lugs. The brand has some watches with articulating lugs that actually move and wrap around the wrist a bit. Now these lugs, they don't articulate, they don't do that. What they do is curve down below the case back. So that means that this really does hug the wrist, whether or not that wrist is artisanal, small batch, or 7 inches. And how this looks on the wrist. Now, maybe you've had this experience. Something interesting happens when I see a watch that I've been wearing, but I see it on someone else's wrist or from a distance. That physical distance, that perspective, sometimes makes the watch look even better. And that's exactly what happened when I started reviewing this footage. Like, damn, this watch looks kind of amazing on the wrist. I guess I'm just a little surprised by it since it's not really my style, but I am a fan of how this looks here. And how does it look up close? First, let's read this thing. Hours and minutes with the fully blued leaf hands. Again, those are blued titanium hands. The smaller hand with a triangle tip, that's the pointer date. The date is set either by adjusting the time or by using a micro pusher on the side of the case at 6 o'clock. But I want to talk about this ball thingy. This is a GMT hand, this GMT ball, Greenwich Mean Ball. The ball, which is also made of titanium, sits in a trough. And also in that trough are the 24-hour numerals representing the 24 hours of the GMT reading. One unusual thing is that midnight is at 6 o'clock and noon is at 12 o'clock. I've never seen that on a GMT before, but actually I prefer it this way. Noon at the top makes some sense to me. And as the 24 hours of the day pass, the ball moves along the trough. And when the ball reaches 6 p.m. or night, it rotates from gold to blue. And when the ball gets to 6 a.m. or day, it rotates from blue to gold. How neat is that? That's pretty neat. As for the local time, that can be set via the jumping hour hand. That makes this watch a flyer watch or a traveler style GMT. And all of this is happening on a dead gorgeous dial. First of all, the chapter ring and the date ring aren't flat, they curve, they kind of arc, and it's a really subtle, beautiful detail. And then of course the GMT trough adds a ton of depth. And then on the main dial, what looks like a shining sun emanating rays into space. And then below that, the Milky Way galaxy on a concave piece of blued and mirror polished titanium. Man, shoot, this is really something. On the flip side is that 5-day manually wound movement. The blued balance wheel and the bridges are also made of titanium, but the balance wheel weights are made of gold because, of course they are. I'm sure Bethune would say it uses gold because of the mass, but you know, gold also just sounds good for marketing. I'm guessing the two large gears behind the Starfleet bridge are mainsprings, which is probably how the watch has its 5-day power reserve. I like that the movement is not traditionally finished. There are no Côte de Genève or perlage here. The finishing is as weird and as interesting as the movement and the rest of the watch, and I like that. I like a lot about this watch. I'm not super down with the price, but if that's what it takes for watches like this to exist in the world, fine, good. I see a lot of creativity and innovation in this piece. Granted, I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I do know that I want watchmaking like this to flourish, even though I can't afford this thing. If only there was something I could do to bring attention to this watch and this brand to support this kind of watchmaking. Some kind of content, like a video, or maybe post it on the internet. Nah, only highly intelligent people with excellent taste and impeccable style would watch a video like that all the way to the end.